Hi loves, it's Lacey and welcome to our space. So today in our space we are going to be doing some trash to treasure DIY, starting off with this vase that I got from Hobby Lobby. It has a broken handle, as you can see, and they sold it to me for 90% off at $3.99. I also have my favorite pick from Hobby Lobby here, some of these little wheat pieces from Hobby Lobby, this ribbon that I think came from Michael's, but they have one just like it at Hobby Lobby or really close to it. This one here from Joanns, which is chenille, and this one from Hobby Lobby that is striped with a little glitter. I also have some leaves off some Hobby Lobby garlands, and we are going to get started right in on decorating and covering up this vase. Now the vase is terracotta and it is glazed. I tried to sand down the side, but I thought it was going to crack, so I quit and I decided we're just going to cover it up. I'm going to use some wire cutters here to cut off the bottom of the stem instead of bending it over, and putting a little hot glue with my Ryobi hot glue gun with some Gorilla Glue to make sure that the floral tape does not unravel. And I'm just eyeballing where it's going to go. But first, I'm going to take some of this rust colored chenille ribbon that I got from Joann Fabrics on clearance, and I'm going to adorn the neck of this vase. I think it'll help with covering up the top broken part of this vase where the terracotta is, and I'm going to glue it a little bit off center of it just in case the glue doesn't want to stick to the actual terracotta. The vase is all glazed and I know the glue will stick to that. I'm also using my little hand spatula that I have from Dollar Tree. It is silicone, and so the glue won't stick to that to help it stick down. Then I'm going to take some of the white and orange glittered stripe ribbon that came from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to put that on top in the middle of the other ribbon to give it a little more interest. And just because I'm extra, if you guys are not new here, you know I'm extra, and if you are new, I like to do things a little bit over the top. Then I'm going to take this piece of the Thankful ribbon that I had left over from another project that I thought I was going to use. I'm going to bend it in half and make it actually into like a little V peak, and make sure that both sides are on the right side of it, and stick it to where the last ribbon connected. So it's not going to be right in the middle over where the handle's broken off. It's going to be to one side. Then what I like to do is to ruffle my ribbon because it's a little bit too long, and put it where I think I want it before I put on my pick. That way I know that once my pick is on and I ruffle it, it's not going to hide the words. So I bent the pick just a little bit on the side, and I'm going to glue it down on the top first. I'm gluing the leaf, as you can see, down to give it a little more surface area to have glue, and I'm going to glue it on the top where the ribbon meets so you don't see that. So that makes it turn to the side just a little bit, and I'm going to put some excess glue under there and add some of my other leaves just to cover up the stem on my pick and to give it some more decoration because, like I said, I'm extra and I want it to look nice and full. There's some blank spaces and you can see behind it in a couple spots. So I'm going to tuck in a few more leaves, and I'm going to add in some of those little wheat pieces because it'll hide where you can see where it was broken, and fill in some of the blank spaces that are in the pick once I spread it out the way that I did. So once I get all of that in there, I just fluff it all up and it's going to be basically done. I'm going to add one more thing to it here in a second that I'll show you, but you can decorate this any type of way that you want. I just really like a lot of the typical fall colors, but I love this pick with the white sunflower, and so I decided to use that instead of using like a typical regular sunflower. You can do this really neutral or really bright and colorful, or like I did, a little bit of both. And then I put a Dollar Tree LED candle in the top of this. It already had like a little line of hot glue around the bottom of it from another project that I used it for, and it sat in there perfectly. I think this would be a great addition to the middle of a table with some pumpkins and some other lower candlesticks, and it will make a great centerpiece for fall. So now on to DIY number 2. I have this extra large tray here. It has 2 handles on the side. They're very small. My little hands will fit in there perfectly, but it has seen better days. It's broken in a couple of spots and the bottom is like not real wood. I am going to be taking this and covering it with Waverly's chalk paint and ink. Now this was a trash item that my girlfriend was going to throw away a long time ago, and I ended up taking it from her, and I've used it for a while in my house, but like I said, it's seen better days. I think she got it from a thrift store, and it was initially from Target, but I ended up getting it from her when she was going to put it in her trash, and so now we're going to redo it for the fall season here. I have this thin ribbon that came from Hobby Lobby. You get 4 different ribbons. I'm utilizing the orange one in here, and I am going to run this around the top of the handle just to adorn it so it has a little pop of color. Now I cut off a long piece, and I'm going to use my Ryobi hot glue gun and glue it underneath the handle so you don't see where they're connected, and then I'm just going to wrap this around, straight around, in a little line all the way down. Now you could do it all messy if you wanted to, but you guys know I am a little OCD and a little bit extra that I want it to line up perfectly. So this does take a while. I sped up this footage so you didn't have to sit here and watch me do it. But the easy way to do it is get your first couple ones started like this and put them up against each other and make sure your ribbon stays straight. And just pull it tightly, and then once you get a few on there, you can hold your finger over it like I'm doing here and wrap it around each time, and it goes pretty fast. I actually cut off this piece, and it was enough to do this entire side and the other side. And then I do, when I get to the end at the top, put a dab of hot glue at the top, because if you let go of it, it will unravel. And then I did the other side. I also then had this. This is a placemat from Ollie's, and it was only $1.99. We had to go into Ollie's to get some tarps. Here's the thing, Ollie's has really cheap tarps. If you need tarps, just not ones to do weather, they have really cheap tarps. So we went there and I found this, and this is what I decided to use in the middle of this tray. So I'm just deciding how I want it to sit here in the tray. And it is plastic, and this one is kind of shiny. You could spray paint it if it was too shiny for you to a duller color, but I didn't mind it. I'm going to put some hot glue on the back of some of the thicker sections on here and then press it down. It's very pliable, as you can see. I am just going to lift it, and wherever it's nice and thick and it's not going to come through, I put a little bit of hot glue. And I do that for all 4 sides of this. I'm not putting a ton on here because the beauty of this DIY is for every season you can change this out. I am going to take this off after fall and then do something with it for winter or for the Christmas holiday instead, and change out the handles because there's just a couple of dabs of hot glue. The most I'll probably have to do to it to change it out would be maybe to sand it a little and put some more paint on it, and it'd be perfect. But look at how quick and easy this DIY was. It's done. I love it. I'm gonna set a couple of candles on here, maybe a couple of little pumpkins, and probably a little vase with a flower coming out of it, and you'll be able to see the whole tray. Or you can use it to serve things on. Just remember, this is a plastic placemat, so don't put anything hot on it. Now on to DIY number 3. I have these 2 alcohol bottles. They are from St. Brendan's Irish Cream. I love that they're 2 different sizes, and I always save these because I use them in a lot of things over on my dining room table, in my kitchen and stuff for DIYs. So first we have to get all of the sticker off of the smaller one. I'm just using my Ryobi heat gun, and I am using my Cricut scraper. You just heat it up and scrape it off. It's that simple and quick. I do both sides of this. I took off the metal collar on the larger one a long time ago, and then on the smaller one here I decided to leave it on because we're going to cover it up. I also have these rub-on transfers that I just showed you. These came from Dollar Tree this fall season, and they are dark. You will see on one of them I changed it out. You don't see them that well. they'd be really nice on lighter glass. But I'm using my Cricut scraper to rub this on and then to just peel it off the glass. Make sure you clean the glass before you do this after you get the sticker off. Once I have them on both of them, we're going to do the smaller one with the pumpkins here. I absolutely love the pop of color for this. It is going to make the pumpkins look darker though once it's on this really dark amber glass, but I really love these bottles, so I don't mind that it looks like this. At the end you will see it. I do something different to the bigger one so you can see it a little bit more. So then we are going to take some lights to light up the inside of these. I got these from Dollar Tree and they go inside a vase, and you can put the entire thing in with water. You can put live flowers in there, and you can put the actual controller part in with water. But they fit nicely in these, so I'm just going to feed them down into these bottles, and they will sit on the top of the bottle perfectly. Just like this, and you can see that it lights up here. So on the small one, I'm going to put it in there, and it's going to sit on the top like that. I'm going to cover the neck of it with some of this ribbon that I had left over that I just pulled out in my stash. When I started these, all I knew is I wanted to light them up, and I knew that I was going to put the rub-on transfers from Dollar Tree on there. You can use transfers from like chalk paint or chalk couture like stuff, or you can use a cutting machine like your Cricut and cut out something in another color to go on it, like Hello Fall or something like that too. I do have another bottle, and if I find it, I will probably do that to another one and post a picture of that along with these over on my Instagram. But right here I am just putting this ribbon around the neck to give it a little decorative part to it. And then I have these leaves that came off this beautiful I think it is a peonies, I'm not sure what it is, the flower. It might be like a chrysanthemum, I'm not sure. Somebody let me know in the comments down below. Anyway, I cut off the stem and I'm gluing it to the front of the ribbon so that no glue gets on the actual controls of the light, so I can still turn them on and off while they're in the bottle. And the beauty of that is I can take them out and use them for another project when I don't need to use them in the bottle. So onto the larger one, we're going to do the same thing with the ribbon. We're just going to cover up the neck of this just to give it a little more decoration. And in hindsight, for doing both of these, I would have put the ribbon on where the seam was in the front. I actually put it on with the seam in the back of it, but I would have put them on at the seam in the front because I'm going to be covering up the ribbon in the front with some glue. Anyway, I have this like pampas grass that came from Michael's like last year that I really love, and I never ended up using. I only ended up getting one of them on clearance. So I want to put this inside the bottle, which means the little controller to the lights can't be on the inside. It's going to have to hang out of the bottle. So all I'm doing here is just separating them a little and getting them all the way down in there and making sure that the light will hang from the bottle. We're going to turn it on its side so you can see really well. And then I made this bow that matches this ribbon, and it includes a little of this rust orange ribbon that was at Dollar Tree in the Crafter Square section last year. I actually made this bow last year and I didn't use it, and so it will be perfect for this project. So here I'm going to show you how to make this bow because I didn't show you with a scrap piece. So I take ribbon and I wrap it around in a circle like that, and then here on the edges I cut into the actual wire opposite directions, kind of on a diagonal. Then I bend it in the middle here and I wrap the whole thing with floral wire. I'm going to have a much thicker piece with this when I do it. Then I separate each section like this and I cut through it. And when it's cut through, it looks like this end. I fold the ends over and I cut dovetails in it. And once that's done, I'll show you here how I do it. I cut the dovetails through. Once that's done, this is what it's going to look like here. Just like that. Now you can cut the tails like that, or you can cut points like this, or you can do a little of either. I have done both in this bow, but they will be gathered in the middle with the floral wire, and it will be a ton of them. And then I separate them with my fingers like this, and I twist them apart. So they all stay real big and fluffy, and then I fluff up the ends. That's how I make my bows. They don't have to be right next to each other, and I try to make sure if I have multiple colors that they're not right next to each other so it looks full and the colors are spread out through the entire bow. That's how I do it. Sometimes I do it with 3 ribbons, sometimes with 4. Here is a prime example of one of my bows. I made this bow last year in a video where I did some Cricut projects, and it turned out really nice. I used 4 different ribbons as I'm showing you here. The orange, one with pumpkins on it, the stripe one I used in my other DIY here, and then one that has some little leaves on it that came from Dollar Tree. I wrapped them all together, tied them with floral wire, cut the ends into dovetails, and then I just pulled them all apart. And that's what I did to make this one last year. So we're going to pull it apart and make sure that I can get to all the pieces. And then we're going to glue it on the front of this ribbon. And I'm going to glue it just on the top of it and make sure that my control for the light is underneath so it can camouflage it. So here I am putting a little tiny bit of glue on top of the controller and on top of the ribbon. That way you can still turn the controller on and off. Then you could not see these words at all. So I took from Dollar Tree a paint pen in gold, and I'm just tracing out these letters. If you're going to do this on a dark bottle like that, I suggest you trace them out before you actually do all the other stuff on it. It makes it a little bit easier. But this is how they turned out, and I love them. They were so easy to do and pretty cheap from 2 empty bottles that we already had at our house. So that is it for this video. Comment down below which one of these was your favorite. I have to say I absolutely love the bottles that we just did because I think they're really cute. I like the shape of them, and so it turned out really, really well. But I'm going to be using all of these in my house during the fall season. I absolutely love how this tray turned out, and I love that it is interchangeable. I can change this out for every season. I don't even have to use a placemat to put in the middle. You could decoupage something or find a small sign and put it in the middle and then take that off later too. But I love how each one of these turned out, and I think I am going to be doing another fall DIY for you guys coming up soon. I know everybody else moved to Christmas already, but I still have a couple of ideas. I swear I'm going to get to Christmas soon. I want to thank you guys for watching and always liking my stuff. If you're not a subscriber here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye, loves.